Our guided tour started at 5 a.m. and our first destination was an area called Mahintale, that is also referred to as the Cradle of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. The story goes that a monk from India called Mahinda came over and met the king of Anuradhapura at this very location. There was a pair of dogs that we met at the bottom of the hill, and it was really cute because the place was empty and they climbed up the steps with us. They went and guided us to the stupa and then to Invitation Rock and just hung out with us the entire time.
¿Dónde estamos?
I don't know, honestly. We came to see a rock and a stupa.
Stupa.
At Invitation Rock, there were like 50 menacing monkeys all over the rock, and the dogs went up before us and scared some of the monkeys off, but they kept coming and coming, and the monkeys would get closer to the dogs, and it looked like they wanted to mess with them. Yeah, just gang up on the dogs. At the end, I feel like I was just having a staring contest with the monkeys. They were staring at me, I was staring at them. I was worried about the dogs, so we just turned around and went back down. The whole idea of going to the temple that early was to be able to see the sunrise, but it was super cloudy. It turned out to be okay because it was really nice to be there on our own. It was peaceful and quiet and calm.
Denise, do you want to kill us?
No, que lo intento seguir, pero ya muy rápido.
Right now we are going back to the guest house to eat breakfast, and then we will continue with the tour.
On our way to eat breakfast, we made 2 stops. This was the first, and this is a sacred Banyan tree.
So we are very lucky. Another one.
Its roots grow down from the tree branches until they make contact with the ground. The monks here have twisted the roots together and moved them to make this little temple. Next, we just pulled over by the side of the road because our guide said that this was an area where fruit foxes lived. There were so many all over the trees, and it was really exciting to see them. I never imagined I would be able to see one.
Or white, or that was the color of the
So before this time we have the white color. We have the 7 stupa. Anyone? White color. This one and second biggest one.
Next, we headed to an ancient forest monastery. There were a lot of really large boulders, and at the site you could see carved stone seats in the rock that the monks would use to meditate. There were also beds carved into the stone too. Our guide stated that monks would come here and meditate for 14 days straight without eating or drinking. I just don't know how it would work. If you spent 14 days without eating or drinking, how you wouldn't die. I don't understand that. This next temple was built by one of the kings to house 500 ordained children. We walked the grounds and visited the temple and the gardens, And we're even able to peer into a little cave in the rock that was filled with bats. Next, we went to visit a sacred tree. I think this was one of the most important sites that we visited. There were so many people streaming in to this place, and they were all carrying flowers and leaving them under the tree as offerings. One thing that was cool, though, is that the tree is enormous, but actually the original tree is just this one branch that you see. It's small compared to all of the other larger trees that have grown in. And the original tree is also held up with these golden supports that you see shooting up from the ground. The last place we visited on this tour was a stupa that was in the same large complex of the sacred Bodhi tree. The wall all around the stupa was lined with elephant carvings. And this is where our tour ended. After this, on the way home, we stopped by this big lake, and our guide explained that there are more than 1,000 lakes on the island, and they are all man-made. Back at the guest house, we packed up our belongings and headed to our next destination, Sirigiya. A couple of other things that I wanted to mention about this trip that I learned are that when the Buddha has his feet together like this, it means that he is sleeping. And when his feet are a little skewed like this, that means that he is dead. And I was also curious because the Buddha on the statues is very decorated. His earlobes are really big, and his toenails and his fingernails are painted pink. And there are other little decorations that you see in all of the statues. And I asked one of our hosts why that is, because the Buddha was a person, so why is he decorated like this? And our host explained that the Buddha is different from other people, that he's different is the sense that I kind of got out of this explanation. And that's why he has these different characteristics. I don't know if this is exactly the correct explanation, so sorry if it's incorrect, if somebody wants to correct me or tell me more about it, because I would be happy to know. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.